Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerd Den here once again, and in today's video I am going to be doing my review for the third episode of Doctor Who Flux, aka Doctor Who Series 13. And yes, this title is called Once Upon Time. That is a very interesting episode. It again completely changes the formula to episodes that we're used to, even with the ongoing story format that's unique for this series. It changes things up in a very surprising but interesting way. But let's have a discussion in this review of if it worked. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into this video. Okay, so yeah, again, just like the previous two episodes in Doctor Who Flux, there is a lot going on, and even more so this time round, because after last week's big cliffhanger involving Swarm snapping his fingers and essentially, well, could he have destroyed time? We don't know at this point at the start of the episode, but things get very interesting when there's a quick resolution from the 13th Doctor that pushes her and Dan onto the other Maury stand. So essentially she has become part of this big time energy surge, and it leads to some very interesting moments in this episode. So essentially the Doctor, Dan, Yaz and Vinda are all separated through some weird time vortex that I found very interesting, and it explored various moments of these respective characters' time streams. So various, moments in their lives, whether it be past, present or future, was brought up, which I kind of liked. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, okay, let's focus on each one, because again, just like previous episodes, it all dabbles with each perspective. So Vinda, we get to learn about he was working for an organisation and that they were doing dirty deeds, and he did try to grass them up, I guess, and it didn't really work in his favour, and it shows that yes, he has a partner on the other side of the galaxy that he is hoping to come home to, but he has been reassigned to another long assignment. So will he come home? I guess we'll have to find out later on in the episode. But yeah, Vinda's story I felt was a little bit lacking, because there wasn't any big reveals, or it just felt like after watching the segments of his character, especially with the past stuff, I didn't really click with a lot of the stuff that was going on. I just felt like there wasn't too much being revealed that would make me feel connected to his character. But then we've got the segments with Dan that kind of re-explores everything that we've had already, especially with his date, Diane, who, there's a little bit of a reveal later on, but yeah, essentially it delves deeper into their friendship / relationship, and it does reveal that Dan has had, past love and stuff like that, and it just goes on to show you that, Dan is very fond of Diane, and they are very close. That is something I did really enjoy, especially learning more about Dan and his dynamic with Di, that I thought was really, really good. And then we move on to Yaz, that again we get to see more with her and her sister, who is probably the only one out of her family that we have seen the most. We saw a bit of a mom in Series 11, and a dad as well, but mainly a mom. And then Series 12, we saw a sister and a cameo from her parents. But yeah, and also as well, going back to Series 11, we saw a nan. But yeah, in terms of like the most prominent member of a family, it seems to be a sister. But her sister cameos in the scene, so it doesn't really add a lot to their dynamic. But there's fun little glitches in, all of these, moments in the time streams. And yeah, we get to see the Doctor and Yaz playing a video game that does kind of bring me to say that, yeah, this moment was probably one of the most horrifying moments in Doctor Who that I can think of that's happened recently, where Weeping Angel comes out of the TV, similar to what happened in the Stephen Moffat episode Time of Angels, that I thought was a nice homage, but this time where they're playing a video game and Weeping Angels just suddenly appear out of nowhere, that I thought was just funny. Just the fact that Weeping Angels can just appear, and it just kind of brings in the threat as well that, they can just appear from anywhere, and obviously once they're observed, boom, they're there on the telly, and the only way that Yaz can actually solve this issue is by smashing up the games console, which was like, okay, imagine if that was a PS5 that you couldn't get hold of. But yeah, it was definitely one of the horrifying moments of this episode, and there is another one as well that I'll be bringing up as I discuss the ending of this episode. But yeah, definitely I did, out of all of them, I loved the past segments with Yaz and obviously the Doctor glitching in and out, and the Weeping Angel just appearing. And the Weeping Angels are utilised very well in this episode, building up to their bigger appearance in next week's episode. So, really spot on there. But in terms of the Doctor's time stream events, I was very intrigued by them. Very intrigued. And I've got to say, out of all of them, I was kind of hoping to see more, but it's left me with more questions than answers, obviously. And with this particular mission that we see, obviously the Doctor's working for the Division, and this incarnation of the Doctor, whilst is mainly the 13th Doctor, but obviously under all the filters, it's the fugitive Doctor played by Jo Martin. And again, Jo Martin, she just owns the screen whenever she's on there, and it's just so good to see her come back as the fugitive Doctor. I did kind of anticipate her to appear in some form this series, and the fact that she just suddenly made a cameo was just absolutely fantastic. Now, I do wish she had more time on screen this episode. Part of me wishes that her segments had Jodie glitching in instead of the other way around, so it was predominantly Jo Martin's Doctor instead of Jodie's Doctor taking centre stage. That could have been due to filming conflicts or something like that, I don't know, but it would have worked better the other way around. Maybe the 13th Doctor is kind of like in a mirror or something, kind of watching her predecessors' actions that she doesn't even remember doing, and I feel like would have worked a bit better. But I still love what we got, and again, just the whole dynamic with Swarm and Azure, I thought was really cool, getting to see them being captured, and then that sense of like, okay, what's going on now with the Division? What happens from here? And again, just like everything else in this series so far, it's getting us to question a lot of things. It doesn't give us much answers, but when it does, it just shoves loads of more questions in our faces. But yeah, in terms of the overall episode, though, it does kind of work very well with this different sense of storytelling where we are literally glitching around each time stream and just seeing various points in these characters' timelines. And there is also a segment that I want to talk about that isn't necessarily tied to this story in the Temple of Atropos, but that is to do with a new character that was very interesting, and this is Vinder's partner that is revealed later on. And I've got to say, I did enjoy these scenes. Whilst we don't get a lot of dialogue, there's some, dialogue where, the character's talking by itself, but I did enjoy this little segment with the Cybermen and the Daleks as well, even though the CGI was a little bit off. I imagine there's going to be a fan out there that's going to, redo that CGI or something like they did with the Magician's Apprentice. But it was nice to see the Daleks nonetheless, mentions of the Sontarans, like for the previous episode, and then obviously seeing the Cybermen was pretty cool. And I was literally thinking about this today. I was like, where are the Daleks throughout all this? They would love to, go in a broken timeline and destroy loads of things. Yeah, they would thrive off that. But it is nice to see the Daleks appearing in a small capacity. Seeing the Cybermen as well, I didn't have a lot of expectations for them being in this episode, but it was still good to see them nonetheless, even though they were just literally used as cannon fodder. But still, it was good to see these returning monsters. That was really, really good, just to say it again. But yeah, in terms of what else happened in this segment, though, it was good to, see what has happened in the universe since the Flux literally destroyed everything and destroyed the entirety of time and space. But it left me, again, wanting to feel, I wish I had more from that segment. But I guess, as well, with this character, we will be seeing more, and especially with Vinda on the hunt for this character, I am going to say that, yeah, we will probably be seeing more. But yeah, in terms of the character, though, of Belle, who is Vinda's partner, she's definitely set up to be a very important character for Vinda, and I don't know, I'm not feeling that connection yet, but obviously once we see them on screen, I think things are going to be very interesting, and we are going to be set up with probably a big cliffhanger with her unborn child. So I guess only time will tell, but let's go back to the present day segment of the episode. So Swarman is here, they heavily anticipated what the Doctor was going to do, and they disappear. But I do like that the Doctor is so angry with herself because she wants to spend more time in this time stream with Amori in order to find out what was going on with her and the division. She wants to learn about her past that she doesn't remember. That I thought was a brilliant element, and I really wanted to see more of that again. But I do think we're going to see more of that later on in the season, and again, I feel like that's going to work really well. But yeah, I also want to say as well, the way the 13th Doctor was treating Yaz, it kind of gave me some 10th Doctor vibes a little bit, especially the way number 10 treated Martha sometimes. I don't know if there's going to be a connection there or something in terms of like themes, but it could be possible. But then obviously, to move on swiftly with discussing this episode, there is also the cliffhanger that I thought was insane. The Weeping Angel just jumping out the phone and hijacking the TARDIS was such a horrifying thing to see. I loved it. And the fact that Weeping Angel was just taking out the lights and just moving so swiftly and piloting the TARDIS, I can't wait to see where episode 4 leads. And this cliffhanger, again, has me pretty invested. But yeah, in terms of the episode overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Again, it was a pretty good episode. Whilst very confusing in terms of having various timelines out of sync, and you couldn't tell whether it was going to be the past, present, or future for these characters, a lot of them did work. And again, the Weeping Angels being used to some excellent capacity was awesome. And I feel like they are going to be the secondary antagonists of this series overall. I did love the scenes with Belle, even though I do wish that we did get to see more of a character just to kind of build on the dynamic she has with Vinda. And again, with Vinda, I haven't really been shown a lot that makes me attached to his character yet. I hope we get some more scenes before the finale where I feel a bit more invested in his character, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens with that. But yeah, thank you very much for all your support. If you are new around here, be sure to subscribe for more nerdy content, as we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, which I would love to reach by the end of April next year. But with that being said, thank you very much again, and yes, goodbye for now.